So, the 19th of July, it's nearly upon us. The day we have all been waiting for. The day when we're free to make our own choices and live life again. The day we can, if we choose to, unburden ourselves from our masks, hug freely, and sing to our heart's content. We're free to be all that God has called us to be. So the government have decided to go ahead with unlocking all restrictions and are encouraging us to take personal responsibility in light of the continued COVID-19 pandemic and how we care for ourselves and others through that. They've made this decision in amidst increasing case rates across the country. They believe that the time is right to do this because our amazing vaccination rates mean that despite the case rates increasing, the number of people going into hospital is low given the high case rates, and the numbers who are sadly losing their lives is also much lower than in previous waves of the pandemic. They say we need to learn to live with the virus. That doesn't mean, however, that it is the time to choose to let all things go. See, the thing about personal responsibility is it puts a heavy weight on our shoulders. We need to work out individually, with an awareness of those around us who are perhaps more vulnerable than we are, how we respond to the change in the rules. We will all feel differently about the change in what the government is asking us to do or not to do. Some of us are breathing a sigh of relief. For some of us, life won't really change that much, and some of us are really quite anxious about putting ourselves or others at risk as we navigate the road ahead. Some of us will be retreating back into our homes. The choices we make matter, and we embrace the freedom to choose. At some point, the restrictions had to open up, and as they do so, we take responsibility in how we react, both to the changes and to those who are embracing those changes differently to us. What does this mean for us as a church? Well, our midweek activities won't change that much, and actually they're just about to close for the summer anyway. But over the past few months, as things have opened up, it has been meeting for worship with the freedom to meet as we want to, and in particular, the freedom to sing that has been one of the most difficult things to navigate. We have been online and in person, outside and indoors, fitting within rules as we try and be creative within restrictions. And for those of us who have attended in person, as well as much blessing from being able to do that, there have been things that we have found difficult and lacking. It's given a chance for some experimentation, and I have loved leading the family services in particular, which have been a real blessing on me, and I hope those who attend. And I hope to be continuing to develop our family services in that way. But because the statistics show that we're not in the best position in terms of transmission and case rates, the leaders have decided that a cautious relaxation of restrictions for in-person services is wise. This follows advice from both the government and their advisors and our own Baptist Union. We wouldn't want our worship services to be a place where the virus is spread. We're called to care for one another. And as we take personal responsibility, we also must care for those who are vulnerable around us, particularly in group situations. So, during July and August, we will continue alternate in-person family services and sermon services. All are welcome to both as we worship together. We will have a bi-weekly online service through the summer, the same week as the sermon service, and the frequency of letters to those who receive them will change to fortnightly. We do plan to continue with online services into the autumn and beyond, but we're having a bit of a rest over the summer from doing it every week. If you are attending in person, then we're going to keep social distancing during the service until case rates decline, and we're going to be really intentional with ventilation. We're going to have windows and doors open, so if it's cold, you may need a jumper, as windows and doors let in the cold air. But this will mean that we'll be able to sing indoors more safely, which I know many of us are looking forward to. Singing is back! Hooray! We're also going to reintroduce refreshments after the service. Now, you've probably heard a lot of discussion about face coverings. Whilst we won't be insisting on face coverings in the building because we can't do that, the current advice is that they are of benefit as they protect others if you are carrying the virus. And the general encouragement is to be cautious with removing face coverings in group situations. Guidance on safer singing suggests that wearing face coverings will be helpful to prevent transmission of the virus. So I would ask you to think carefully about whether to wear a face covering or not. It is your choice, though. And to keep one another safe, another way you might do it is to take a lateral flow test before attending worship. You can pick those up from local pharmacies or order online, or you may have some already if you have to take them for work. I've been testing before worship since we opened up, and it's a straightforward and easy routine once you get into it. So, to sum up, singing is back, face masks are optional but encouraged when rates are high. Social distancing is to stay for a while, and you might want to bring a jumper if it's cold. Let us be aware that people will be at different stages of embracing the freedom offered. Ask for consent before hugging. Make sure everyone feels welcome and choose to love one another deeply, even if your reactions to the unlocking are at totally opposite ends of the spectrum. Try not to get stressed out with one another. Ephesians 4 verses 1 to 3 says this, and I think if we approach the unlocking in this way, it will help us to stay at peace with one another in community. I urge you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling to which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. Opening up creates new opportunities. Let us cautiously embrace them as we learn to live life through this bit of the pandemic and beyond. Amen.